Has anyone else noticed that Disney's Star Wars is just a series of mistakes? I don't mean like they're bad films, just that every film was made to fix the mistakes of the last.
They were nobody.
You are a Palpatine.
Disney have defined their series by its mistakes, attempting to fix them rather than embrace them and move on. The Force Awakens was designed to remind everyone about the original trilogy and help them to forget about the mistakes of the prequels. But then fans complained that it was too much like A New Hope, so for The Last Jedi they decided to change it up as much as they could. But then fans didn't like the explanation they gave about Rey's parents, and they didn't like them killing off Snoke, so The Rise of Skywalker attempted to fix those mistakes by retconning pretty much everything. The defining trait about each of these films is the mistakes of the last one. Disney have willingly highlighted their own mistakes rather than embracing them as part of the series and moving forward. I wanted to see where this story was going to go. It was no longer about the Skywalkers. It was about something else. They were moving in a different direction, away from this, oh, everyone has to be part of this family to be important. But then obviously they went back on that and decided, no, family is important. You have to be part of some powerful line, otherwise you're pretty much useless. They saw the explanation of Rey's parents as a mistake that needed to be fixed, rather than accepting that this is part of the story now, we're just going to have to move on from it and work with it. George Lucas had a vision about the prequels and the story that he wanted to tell with them. Even though most fans didn't like the first two films, he still stuck by it. He didn't try and use episode 2 to fix the mistakes of episode 1, and he didn't try to use episode 3 to fix the mistakes of episode 2. He just kept going. Most fans consider Revenge of the Sith a brilliant film, and we wouldn't have it if we didn't have the first two movies. When making Revenge of the Sith, Lucas wasn't thinking about the first two movies. He wasn't thinking about the criticism or what he thinks he could have done better or anything like that. He just went into episode 3 and made a good film. That's not to say he didn't listen to the fans. He did reduce the role of Jar Jar significantly in episode 2, which I think we all can agree was a good thing, but he didn't fundamentally change the story based on people's feedback. And once the prequel trilogy was finished, Lucasfilm didn't try and sweep it under the rug and remind everyone about, oh, remember when Star Wars was good? Like, just let's all just focus on that when Star Wars was good. No. In fact, they embraced it with the Clone Wars, and to many people, made the prequels even better with their series. Nobody can deny that there were problems with the prequels, but Lucas didn't let the problems enforce his decisions on the series. He stuck with his vision, something which Disney clearly lacked.
And then it came to episode 9 and JJ pitched me the film and was like, oh yeah, Palpatine's granddaddy, and I was like, awesome. And then 2 weeks later he was like, oh, we're not sure. So it kept changing.
The prequels have surface level problems, the same as the sequels, but the big difference is that the story of the prequels has been thought out and works within the larger context of Star Wars, whereas the sequels...
Oh, they fly now! They fly now! They fly now!
People now are more willing to overlook the problems with the prequels because they can focus on the good story underneath. However, Disney have focused their entire efforts on the problems. They've highlighted the problems. When you watch episode 9, all you're thinking about is the problems of episode 8. And when you're watching episode 8, you're thinking of the problems with episode 7. All it does is remind everyone of what they didn't like about the last film. Even Rogue One, at its core, was designed to fix the tiny plot hole that there was a weakness in the Death Star. Now, Disney have realized how successful The Mandalorian is, and how unsuccessful their films are. So, what have they done? They've doubled down on shows rather than films, which could be a good thing, but also it's a surface level fix. Oh, people don't like movies, but people like shows. Let's make more shows then. No, people don't like movies because they're bad movies. People still like good movies. If I were to say anything to Lucasfilm right now, it would be, don't worry about it. Yeah, you made some mistakes. You've made some pretty shocking films. But don't try and fix it. Just accept that this is what it is and work with it. The Mandalorian has proved that Star Wars can be good. It can be really, really freaking good. But don't just embrace what works and sweep everything else under the rug. It's all Star Wars now, and we're stuck with it.